Welcome back, everyone. You're playing your leaders wrong. And by that, I mean you're using the wrong art. You're playing them fine. You're doing good. You probably are swinging with them once per turn, using their effects just fine. But today we are going to talk about which leader cards' arts suck. There are a lot of alt art leaders that their front side or their back side are just trash. So we're just going to make the fastest tier list in the world, and then at the very end, I'm going to show you the optimal way to be playing these leaders. And this is what I'm talking about. Oh look! Alt art leaders! Except, two of them, and this is a little bit of a spoiler there for you, two of them use the front sides of the alt arts. There are just two cards in here. Boop. There's the regular, there's the alt. Because, some front side is bad. Like, some of them are bad. And let's just jump into it. Let's talk about them. Look at this Goku. Extremely meh. The color is fine. Posing is okay, but he's got the soft eyes. Which, for Tournament of Power, doesn't really make any sense. Why does he have soft eyes during the Tournament of Power? This is, like, the most intense it's ever been. Everything is on the line here. Blue Goku. I think this is just a good stuff. This is like a prime example of what a leader should look like. The color around him is super blue. It really contrasts with the red. I'd actually rather generally that it either contrasts or heavy blends in rather than just being a random clashing. But this is really nice. Being blue hair plus having blue background is a little bit sus, but overall just fine. This, though, this is an excellent one. This bright blue background contrasts so well with the orange and the red card background. The posing is really dynamic in terms of, like, the charge up, right? It is way more, like, preparing for battle than it is for, like, Goku, who's, like, he's already strong. Why is he charging up again? And then alongside it is just this guy. Still facing the same way, so I enjoy that it's, like, a power up into an attack. He's still got a pretty good color behind him. The purple-blue is kind of hard to see, but the gold alongside these, like the blasts from the Kamehameha, are really well done. Good stuff. Beerus, this is a banger. He's tired, sleepy guy. Good art. It's like very characteristic of Beerus. Not much else to say. The like pink sky of his homeworld and the purple trees is really interesting with like the blue ground. It's just very different from what we would see on, say, Earth. Whereas we've got an extremely meh leader here with the Beerus. The yellow is whatever, like there's no fun to it. The posing is good, but the art itself is not like anything special. Very fine. This Beerus, kind of bad. Like Beerus isn't like a charge forward character. Why is it showing him like leaping at you? Like that's not who he is. And it's not what he does. The color like is the exact same color as him, so again it doesn't really make any nice like contrasts or anything. And the blue on him is not well enough uncovered because the text box is still there. Finally, then we have the alt art leader, who's really in like the same tier as this. The posing is worse for sure. The art's like the same. It's cool that he's doing a Hakai, which is like basically the ultimate thing Beerus can be doing to you. And then it's just that the gold, like it's gold, right? So like alt art leaders, it's pretty hard for alt art leaders to be like down here, just on the sole fact that they do have gold. Then we've got Goku Black, just a good stuff front side, right? Nothing too crazy. Good aura because it is pitch black, even though it's like really dark with this purple. Like the purple and the black do really make them stand out from each other. And I'm just gonna put the alt art right here. They're the same card. This is the same card. There's just nothing else to it. This one's like the charge up versus like the arrogant stance. C'est la vie, you know. Then we got Goku Black. I think it's kind of meh. The colors are fine, but again, like they gave it the purple lighting, right? Because his outfit is not purple. His outfit is like black. But because of like his aura or whatever, they gave him like that purple lighting that's usually like the color 2 costume in like the Dragon Ball games and stuff. And it's not great. The pink is fine. The posing is good. He's got like the arms stretched out, like the Revere Me Now stance, but it's just okay. Meanwhile, we got Trunks. This is one of the bangers. I think this is some of the best art in the game. It's I mean, the posing is excellent. Like, it's a very defensive stance, but also, like, come at me, you can't touch me. The lighting on the end of the sword is really, really sick. The dark blue and black is really, really contrasting with Trunks' like light hair and jacket. Very good stuff. Extremely impressive. Great all around. This is another good one. I think this one is carried a lot by the ideas of the posing, right? The sword itself is still busted, like there's just nothing else to it. It's gone, and he's just holding it towards the sky, which is kind of like symbolic of charging up. But itself, like the colors are not that great. The angle is like a little questionable, right? It's so up down, like a girl taking a selfie. Or really, as anybody taking a selfie. And really, it's just like, what's he doing there? Is he holding a selfie stick? He's just charging up? It's like Skyward Sword? Eh. And then we got Trunks. Banger. Where is he? There he is. Look at him. This is a banger. I'm gonna put it near the top of excellent. And also while I'm at it here, I'm gonna put these. I guess I'll grab it. Just looks like some of them got disordered. That's fine. Will live. So this Trunks, really, really great defensive posing. Having Zamasu's arm in there and then clashing, right? The purple or the pink and yellow really, really clashed there. Love that. It makes me wish that Zamasu was on the opposite side, but things can't be that nice, huh? So really good stuff. Very impressed by like how this card functions. The color again has that dark blue and black in the background. One of the bangers, Goku Black. I think we all knew it when we saw this card. The gold is perfectly placed along this card. The posing is excellent. The like art itself is really, really well detailed. Such a good art. And then we got Trunks, another excellent one. I'm gonna say like here. The posing here is maybe a little stronger than the defensive strike of Trunks, especially since, like, you would think that this would be, like, the alt art of, like, the final Hope Slash that's coming in. But, you know, it's just kind of the way it is. It's still not gold, so, like, it's hard to get into the banger tier if you're not an alt, like, a beautiful alt art, but that's just the way the news goes. Ginyu, let's do Ginyu next. So, trash. Trash. Actually, he's just kind of good stuff. And then this one is also... this one we're going to put in meh. The reason this is going to be in meh is just because of the yellow. That's it. Like, the posing is really good. Like, it's a funny thing. He's making a good face. But being full yellow, even if it does contrast his purple pretty well, he's got enough non-purple that, like, this is just a lot of yellow. Yellow is just not a great background color. Meanwhile, this Ginyu, the purple, is really nice with the Goku. The fact that it's got, like, his own Goku posing, right? The dance pose is great. The only downside is that it's not gold. And then, unfortunately, these are both bad. These are both boring. The colors are pretty bad. The art on this Ginyu, you know, maybe I can move this one into, like, actually kind of bad. The art on it is really good, like the literal art, but everything else about it is bad. Posing sucks, like the colors, like this like lighting, like breaking through is not good. The green back here doesn't really do anything, especially because he's got so much yellow around him as is, like you couldn't just pick one color. Really, really atrocious stuff here from the Ginyu. Meanwhile, also in the yellow stuff, we've got Cooler, the Throne. Cool idea, right? Him at the beginning of that on that random planet where he's just on a throne. But this is a terrible angle. He's got just junk hanging out. The colors of it, right? Like they really like obviously the planet itself is this color, so it's like they can only do so much, but it just feels so drab and bad. Meanwhile, the regular one kind of back up in good stuff. This is like the blue is extremely contrasting to the rest of the card, especially because it is a yellow card. The purple or the yellow ground, right? Like I think it's like basically a light brown rock is really good. Posing is fine. It's not crazy, but it's fine. Meanwhile, we have in bangers, we got the original art of the leader backside. This rocks. This rocks my socks, should rock your socks. The posing is great. The scene is super iconic. The blue is just gorgeous, especially against that dark purple from him, the white that it goes with, right? Like the blue is just so good. This card's art is a true banger. Just the unfortunate truth is it's not gold. Meanwhile, The orange is cool, and everything else about this is bad. The posing is terrible. Not only, like, because they did it wrong, but also he, like, looks rough, right? Like, they could have had his knee pushed further up, and it would have been like he's kneeing something, or like he's flying away, but this is just, like, an ugly, terrible pose. He's super, like, weirdly skinny for this form. Like, his proportions are weird. It's all super gross. Terrible. I think then we can do the droids next. Yeah, these are both meh. These are the same. They're green, and then, like, this is kind of like a descending, like, cool, calm, collected pose, and this is half of the Excel dance. So, really, I think this is kind of dealer's choice, but there are, you know, preferences to it. Meanwhile, we have an excellent one and another excellent. I think that if this was given the gold art treatment, I think this one would be a little better, so I might just put this one at the top of good stuff. So this is such a colorful background. It's like the only one that's like a full scene, like with true background material. I mean, there's buildings, there's a rock, like there's so many colors on this one. It's just a gorgeous card in terms of actual art. Unfortunately, not gold, but this one is still really good, right? The smoke is really nice. The, like, burning smoke, the brown is really sick. And then they're, like, on a cracked building. Not bad. Posing is strong, nothing terrible, like Android 18's, like, fixing her hair or whatever. And 17 is, you know what time it is, baby. It's Gohan time. We got this right here. As someone who doesn't love Gohan, I mean, that's not true. I love Gohan. I don't love this deck. Wow. I mean, this has got to be it, right? Like, this is 3 bangers and, like, an excellent. That is the highest that an average leader is going to have, next to, like, Trunks. Right? Like, Trunks has got 3 excellents and 1 banger, but Gohan is 3 bangers. Look at the line, the strike. You remember where you were when you saw it for the first time. The posing for the Kamehameha with the destroyed arm, the green and gold colors are just amazing for this. This yellow is finally not distracting because the such strong contrast with not only the purple, but the fact that the color itself is not yellow. It is a green card. Gives so much depth to this. It's an insanely good scene. However, I do wish these were backwards. I wish that instead this had been the alt art and we got, like, a gorgeous setup with, like, his eyes flittering with the tears. Because, like, that green Trunks alt art from set 2 really showed that they could do tears right, and I'm very sad that they didn't give it the chance, but honestly, all great. The throwing of the cape is good. I don't love the yellow here is not as good. It is still strong, but it's one of those things where, like, they could have kept the color theming here and then, like, put these together, and it just would have been really good. But honestly, Gohan, 10 out of 10, all around good stuff. Then we got Topku. I think we got some excellent art here. The great posing. The color is, like, really flat, but that really helps accentuate, honestly, how bright his orange is. So I can kind of give it up for that. Really not much to it. The posing is really strong. We probably saw this a million times during Topku format as we did. Another really strong one. The colors, again, very bland, but that really helps his aura stand out. The red and the orange are really strong. And the posing is pretty good. It's not as good as it could be. I might even put it near, like, the top of good stuff. But that's just, like, the way that everything is kind of handled. Meanwhile, man, this blue is so good. And then this posing is really weird. And, like, the texture of the, like, look at his orange is almost yellow. Goku is really looking bad in this. The posing is not great. Like, it's not that the kick couldn't work, but the kick at this angle with, like, this sharpness is not it. Which is so sad because, again, the blue is so good. They just kind of messed it up. And then finally, another meh, the alt art Topku. I don't know, it's probably, like, here. I love Super Saiyan God. It's probably my second Super Saiyan form after SS4 because, you know, it's just the way it is. But, like, it just... He's so skinny, and, like, the art itself, like, Goku looks weird. Like, his proportions are still a little weird, even with, like, the Super Saiyan God skinniness. Like, his hair isn't as big as it needs to be, and the posing is, like, super wide, but it doesn't feel like he got blasted back or anything. This looks more like he's charging. So, not really sure what to make of it. It's just very mediocre. But, the front side of this Zamasu is excellent art. It is an extremely stylized piece. The colors are incredible. You have the light purple. You have this dark, deep blue. You have the stars behind him. You've got his big white... I don't even know what you call that. It's not a halo, but it's the thing that stands behind him, his justice flying thing. This is peak card art to me. There's really not a whole lot better than it gets than this card. And I'm just going to look at it in real life and admire it a little bit closer. I mean, this is just excellent stuff. So good. Then we've got the rest of them. Why? How do you have like the best one in the game, but then the rest are down here? This, you know, the backside of the original one. I'm glad that the purple arm is not the one facing us, but the purple arm is really muted. So like, at least if you're gonna do it, at least do it like the alt art, where it's like a very high contrast purple, and it's like at least it really pops. But like the colors are extremely muted. The gray green behind him looks really ugly. This stylized just looks like they've drained him of all the color, whereas like this one has a lot more texture to him, and like it was drawn by someone who's different, right? This Zamasu, my locals and I put it perfectly. The backside of this leader looks like the best 5th grader drawing you've ever seen. Like, a 5th grader hands you this and you're like, dude, you are going places. No matter who you are, you're gonna end up somewhere. You're gonna be the most famous artist in the entire world. But an adult hands you this and you're like, why does his face look like that? Why is his arm not like further forward on the other side? It's very whack. It's super fine. Like, I guess like the purple lightning is really nice. But again, it has that like icky green gray background that doesn't really work. The alt art Zamasu, the colors behind him are great, right? Like the pink and the purple is pretty good. It's just that the art himself is just not super excellent. It's very high contrast without like looking like it needs to pop. And honestly, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Zamasu as a purple arm guy is so ugly. Like thematically it makes sense, you know, how to get corrupted, but very ugly. Cell. Well, would you look at that? We've got a good stuff and a good stuff. This feels pretty personal preference to me on which one is better. They are both extremely bland. Like, they're both power-ups. I like that the alt art is him being a little bit buffer, because it really makes you feel that he's in like the perfect ultimate Cell, like the comeback form. But honestly, both of them are totally fine. I like the green behind the original Cell a little bit better, but totally fine. Meanwhile, up in excellent, good posing. It's not the best proportions in the world, but the color is great. An extremely deep indigo, with a little bit of yellow to contrast it. Amazing. If this had been the alt art, this would be one of the best in the piece, but it's just not gold. Really good stuff. His wings are really, really helping. Like, they're almost more of the beams out of the Kamehameha. Great stuff. And then I wish there was like a missed potential tier. I'm gonna put it in like good stuff. I'll put it near the top of good stuff. But dude, his proportions are whack. The coloring is so good, the posing is so good, but his proportions are terrible. Like, they couldn't just have fixed that a little bit? And again, he's got like the selfie angle of the trunks up here. Like, it's just a little whack. The lightning is an excellent effect. The yellow and the pink are really, really contrasty, and it's great. But the proportions are just so bad. And I don't know how to fix it, because I'm not an artist. Then we have Vegeta. It suffices. This yellow looks a little better, because yellow and black typically go very well together. Think a la the Bumblebees, and he's got his black hair and his dark gray suit. things mostly look pretty good here, but this is absolutely nothing to write home about. Extremely regular. The posing is okay. I like a point of like a challenge. But this one is actually kind of bad. This Vegeta, the blue is like fine, but I don't think it works here, again, because of the color of his suit. And the fact that this yellow is like this gold yellow from the bar is just not very conducive with this blue. Not good stuff. This blue is a lot better, though. The backside of this one, honestly, I'm going to put it up in excellent. Very strong coloring. The fact that his suit is blue is definitely like an error. That should have been gray. But because it is blue, it looks really good, right? This lighter blue with the yellow looks so much better than this like darker, washed out blue. And then the posing is excellent. His hair color is on point. Good stuff. And then we got another banger. This Vegeta is just gorgeous. And honestly, I'm having a hard time picking between these two as the best alt arts in the game. Just really good stuff. The blue is so gorgeous, and again, it's just it radiates through the card, right? The yellow actually blends well with the gold, and because he's got just that little bit of yellow on his thing, everything really comes together. Such good stuff. I'm thinking I'm gonna put it above Goku Black, but just barely. Jiren, a good stuff. Honestly, let's go excellent. This is a great one. Red is a really strong color. Very good stuff. Jiren has got a good pose. He's got good proportions. Everything is to love here. He's also like the only character with like true red background. Even all of these other red leaders have kind of been given like washed outs. This is like a first true red background. And I can really appreciate him for that. Likewise, the backside, really strong posing. The art is not as anime shadowed as I would have guessed. I don't know the actual word for that. I'm not smart enough. There we go. Not bad. Then we got Green Jiren. I'm going to put it at the top of good stuff, but I think that's only because I don't like green. I think the posing is really strong, and it kind of depends on if you want like the action pose versus like the stoic Jiren. When I think about Jiren, I think stoic behavior, so I'd prefer this one, especially I'm also a red fan, so I really love the red back here with his black and white being really stark contrasts. But this is really good posing, and especially because the green is like the color of the top arena. Very solid stuff. And up and banger, I gotta hand it over to him. I'm not a Jiren fan, but this purple and gold and red and black and white is so chef's kiss. Excellent stuff, Jiren. Good work. Then we got Haloku. We got a lot of good stuffs here, I think. We got a good stuff. We got a good stuff. We got a good stuff. And we got an excellent. So, purple, excellent color, good posing. Not the strongest posing in the world, but I think it's okay. This posing is really bad. This is boring. This is lame. But the blue is gorgeous. This is one of the best blues that we've got alongside like the Zoroku front side and the back side of Vegeta, maybe like with the cooler. This is a great like deep blue, but it's also not like super dark. Very effective use of the color for it. The problem is that this posing sucks. This is like if someone said draw Goku, this is the pose that you're doing. And then we got a really good pose here, but this yellow is really bad. It's like piss yellow. And it's all over the card, and there's no contrast like immediately around him. And since his hair is yellow and his full aura is yellow, very bad. I mean, very bad in terms of the coloring, but the posing is really strong, and the art itself is very good. Meanwhile, this Goku, the posing is good. The proportions are a little off. That's kind of my biggest issue, especially near the top of him. But the aura, the yellow aura here doesn't bug as much because there is a lot of orange in there. He covers like less of the art, but like that allows the orange in the back to peek through more. His halo is definitely a lot less visible in this one and then in the OG, but honestly they're both kind of whatever. And then gold is just going to help yellow stick out a lot. We got Piccolo. Meh. Card is not that pretty. It has a lot of work to do to be working on it, so that's probably what I'd say for it is make sure that that's like the color is fine, but the posing is really bad. The proportions aren't super great. Meanwhile, this Piccolo is excellent. This is an amazing color, amazing coloring, amazing posing. The art itself is there. honestly, I'm going to move it up in excellent. Like, this is really good stuff. And then we got the Piccolo. It's a banger. It's a banger. It's got the early Dragon Ball, late Dragon Ball, early Dragon Ball Z Piccolo proportions. He's really, really strong posed. He's got a great view with the mountains in the back. And then he's going to shed that and turn into a good stuff. The color behind this one, from here it doesn't look that great, but if you guys have seen the card in real life, the green and blue really blend a lot better than they probably should. And it's a very strong contrast to his purple, and the fact that the card itself is green lends itself well to that blending as well. The gold really helps highlight it, but it's a good stuff card. You know, not the best in the world, but it's a good point. We got Bobbity. Mind Control. That's about it. It's super good theming, super good posing. The purple is good. I'd actually say it might even be like here in terms of the posing. But a slightly better purple, in my opinion, is going to be this Bobbity, who has just a weaker pose. I'm going to put them in the same spot here. He's got a weaker pose, but this lightning stuff around him, if you guys have seen the card, really helps it pop. So I really enjoy that. It's just that this is such a good posing of having the crystal ball there. We got actually kind of bad. Boo is kind of bad on the front side. It's got a gross yellow, even if it does contrast really well with his pink and purple. The gloves do not pop out very well. The art itself is kind of mediocre. The posing is okay, I guess. Like, this is just not a super well-liked card. But he's got an excellent. He's got an excellent. The blue, the white, the steam coming off of him, this feels like a true power-up or explosion in the way that not a lot of these cards feel that way. Like, it really feels like he's preparing to explode here, and the steam helps build towards that. The blue is gorgeous. Ugh, very good stuff. And we're on our way to the very end of the video here. We've got GT Goku. Good stuff. Nothing crazy. Good colors. I think that really helps a lot, is the coloring here. The posing is not as strong as this one, which I think is probably in the same spot, but the color is definitely worse, right? So better color, better posing. The proportions of his eyes are a little bit weird on this one, but I really, really dig the background color. Then we've got this guy who's honestly going to go down in meh. The color is good, but the proportions feel really weird, especially around his face and chest. Like, it just doesn't feel quite as Super Saiyan 4 as it should. But I gotta give it up. The other one goes in good stuff. This is a good card. The orange and red is really great with his yellow and red. The black hair is there. The proportions are a lot better in this one. Though his hair does look a little off model. I don't know how else to say that, but like, it doesn't look like how I would draw out the SS4 hair. But then again, I'm not the artist. And the starter decks, you don't get a choice. But we're still going to go ahead and rank them anyway. We've got meh. We've got meh. You know what? I'll even put this one in good stuff because it's a good color. I'll put this one in good stuff as well. Also a good color. Whereas this one's going to go in meh. Broly. This one's going to go in good stuff. But I think this front side is going in meh. The Frieza is going in excellent, but the front side is just in good stuff. Bardock is in good stuff because of the color, and then Bardock in the good stuff again because of color. So here's kind of the whole tier list. I mean, these are just like the absolute best arts in the game. No question in my mind of like how good these actually are. I'd say like these four are in order, right? Like, I think these are the best four arts in the game. But then when it actually comes down, then you kind of go down from there. You've got a lot of good stuff in excellent, a lot of red in excellent, but good stuff is full of plenty of green and blue. Meh is full of kind of everything, and actually kind of bad is just, I guess it has the Zamasu, so there isn't blue, and then straight trash is these two alt-art leaders who just really missed the bar on just about everything. They really messed these up, so I think that's going to be it for this section. Let's pop on over and check out the other. And moving on to how you should be playing your leaders. Are you playing the back and the front and the back like this? Or are you mixing and matching? What are you supposed to do? Which leader are you supposed to use? This is going to answer all of your questions right here. Goku, look at these options. Really great, but you can't beat the blue. You're going with this one, baby. If you're looking at Beerus, the one on the right's kind of bad. But look at that. Oh, you're yawning. You're so tired. And then you wake up just to destroy your enemies. Topku. Great posing on the left. Bad colors. Terrible posing on the right, but a good color. But the left color really still helps the other guy pop out. And in fact, we are playing this. I will note, even though the Topku art is better for the original, you just can't beat gold, man. There's so much gold and shine on these cards, and the other ones just aren't foil. Jiren. This is going to be the battle of the reds and the green, and then if you like the action posing or not, right? So I prefer the stoic, but I actually think this is a choice. Make your own choice. This is what you want to do, whichever one you prefer. If I was to build it, I would build it with the red front side, but I know a lot of people are going to be totally content using the alt art because, I mean, the hand crush with the Tournament of Power in the background is really great, especially these like shards of like broken energy coming up. Trunks Future. This is going to be a close one, but I am going to give it to the first. You know, these are both, like, excellent and bangers, but I think that this posing is stronger on the front side of the original, and I really like the contrast of him being on the defense in both, right? Like, this feels like a stance that he's taking to be defensive, and then he's being a defensive stance again rather than going on the offense. So, I do really like that about him, and good stuff. Goku Black. These are the same card. This is just two of the same card. The one on the right is slightly more dynamic. He's charging into becoming Rosé, so we're just going to stick with him. Not much else to it. Really, really good stuff. But the Rosé is... Ugh, look at those colors, man. So pretty. And then we got Zamasu here. I think this one should probably speak for itself, because I rated the one on the left as, like, the best leader art in the game, and the one on the right as a really good drawing by a 5th grader. I mean, it's this way, right? This is the leader that made me first realize that I need to do this, and I've got it right here set up for you. This is just how the leader should have been from the get-go. This guy is just so much better than the other. Then we've got Halo Ku. This one I think is a choice of color. I don't love the posing on the right, but I do really, really appreciate the purple. And so we are going with, again, a choice of. I will not judge you for having this one in this specific direction. That's it. Then we got Teen Gohan. Two good options, right? This is a banger and an excellent, but only one of these scenes is iconic, right? Like, I don't even know if Gohan stays Super Saiyan while he's in the sidelines. I feel like he probably does, right? We don't see a lot of Gohan with this hair length as a non-Super Saiyan, and well, in fact, we are playing the iconic scene. The lightning, the strike is just so dynamic. The fact that it's like a single red line through this sea of black and purple. He's got the tears welling up. This is peak card design right here, or art design. And then he goes into the Kamehameha here, another really banging alt art. If you use the original one, I wish the original one had been the choice for the alt art, and I feel like they kind of blew their load a little quickly, kind of using both of them for the same card when there's probably going to be another Teen Gohan leader at some point. I'd be shocked if there wasn't, but we're going to have to see. Android 17, these are also the same card. This is like the same color, a lot of the same effects being used. The difference is like I just finished using the barrier and the Excel dance, which I think you should go with the Excel dance. It is a very cool technique, having two people do the exact same thing. The dash posing with like the sharp hands is extremely iconic for them. The hair flailing back in the wind, it's really solid stuff. Cell, these two are very similar, not a whole lot of difference there. I think the green is really pretty on the left, but being Supercell and getting a Scream on the right is very important for power-up, which we are going with the original. I prefer the green, and then the backside, again, missed potential, man. Excellent posing, good colors, but why does his face look like that? The proportions are just so weird. Piccolo, this one I feel like should be really obvious. Like, looking at the left Piccolo, the colors aren't bad, right? Especially that bottom right blue is really pretty, but in comparison to like the full mountain range and everything going on with the Piccolo on the right, it's obvious, right? You can just use the straight up alt art leader. This is the wave. Then we got Ginyu. I don't know, man. Why is his teeth so, like, he's straining so hard for the one on the right? The one on the left has the great posing, but the yellow is so ugly. So I guess we'll do this, but honestly, this is for sure like the only reason we're using this is because it's gold. Because this leader does not look good at all. Cooler, same deal. Very strong front side. Very strong in that. And yeah, again, you're playing it because it's gold, but the other art is like actually really, really excellent. So just unfortunately we're all slaves to the shiny cardboard. Yellow Vegeta. Honestly, you already know, right? Like, I mean, look at the yellow, the stark contrast in the full yellow black into the blue yellow is just really gorgeous here. Whereas this one is like a half thing. His face is like a little weird. He's like in disbelief, like why is this going on? I don't know what's going on with his posing there. He's like sidestepping, but also like he's confused with his face. It's very odd. And then we got Boo. I think this is like a kind of a personal preference one almost. I do think there is going to be an answer to like an individual person. But for me, you get a full choice here. Take your pick. The crystal ball versus like the green smoke lightning. I don't know what that is around him in the middle, but this is the way to do it. Also, I'm realizing that it's called Halo-ku, so you'll have to ignore that. It's definitely Majin Buu. GT Goku. This one should be... Typically, I'm going with colors, but for once, I really think that this black and yellow is working well. Like, the combining with, like, the gray of the card really works for me. I don't know what it is. I think the posing is really good. The art is not especially great. Like, I think he's a little bit buff on the proportions for his hand. But overall, it's really good stuff. Just play the alt art leader as is. And that's it. Starter deck leaders, eat your heart out. See you next time, guys.